Today I want to show you a card that we'll be making from the Art Gallery stamp set. And I'll show you a few cards that I've made with this. This is my favorite stamp set and dies in the current mini catalog. And so this is the first card that I made. Just want to say the words are part of the die set that comes with this stamp set. So just want to say, and you get dies for the flowers and two sentiment dies. So this is absolutely beautiful watercolor design, and I used some Nouveau drops after I stamped the center of the flower on this one. This is a beautiful card. The background is from the embossing folder, and this is designer series paper that comes with the suite if you buy the suite, and it's already beautifully colored, and I just ran it through the embossing folder, and I'll show you that in a moment. Another card that I made was this one, The Good Things in Life Are Better With You. This DSP comes with some, there is also some acetate with gold on it that overlays some of the paper. And this is another beautiful, beautiful paper. This is the same paper with a different, it's a different section, and just saying hello. And this is the card that we'll be making today on today's video. So let me show you all of the things that we'll be using for this. Of course, we'll be using the Art Gallery stamp set, and I'm not using any of the dies today for this card, but we are using the stamp set. Also in the mini catalog in the back, you'll find a stamp set for Hostess that is called the Sweet Sampler, and it comes with stamps that go with various sweets that are in the mini catalog. So this particular stamp goes with the Art Gallery set, and so I'll be using that for the inside of the card. This one goes with the Friends Are Like Seashells, and this goes with the Dragonfly Garden set. This goes with the I believe this one and this one both go with the Hydrangea Heaven, and I like the little circle dots. That's good for beach cards too. So, and this particular stamp can be used for anything, but I believe that it goes with the Forever and Always suite. Okay, so we'll be using those. We'll also be using the Stampin' Up! Stitched dies for the inside of the card. And you can see the beautiful embossing folder on the back here. And I'll show you how I added the ink to that. We're going to be using Rich Razzleberry. This is the embossing folder, and it's absolutely beautiful. It makes it look like a painted background. We're also going to embellish our card with some of the glittery enamel dots, and I used the second largest, I believe it's the second, yeah, the second largest of the Stitch So Sweetly dies to cut out this piece of Blackberry Bliss. Okay, also I've got some old twine. I think this is sugar plum, sweet sugar plum twine that we'll be using to wrap around the Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to be using some Stampin' Write markers, the Rich Razzleberry and Old Olive, And I'll also be using Rich Razzleberry, Flirty Flamingo, Dark Petal Pink, Dark Old Olive, and Light Old Olive to color in the card today, and these are the blends. I'm going to be using one of the new Stampin' Up! Blending brushes. I've marked this one for purples, and I've already used it on my sample card. Also, rather than using dimensionals on a rectangle piece, because I feel that it kind of just misshapes it unless you use a ton of them, I've cut a piece of cardboard backing from some of the old Designer Series paper packs, and I'll use that to back this so that it stands up just a little bit from the embossed background. Okay, I've already stamped the flower from the Art Gallery stamp set in Versamark and heat set it with white embossing powder. And I want to show you how I colored this using the blends. So I start off with the lightest color, and I'm not going to do the whole thing, but I'll show you. So I just kind of put, you can just color right over the white embossing powder after it's been heat set, and it picks up the color beautifully. So just kind of color around just over all of the white parts, and then with the dark old olive I went back and kind of darkened it in areas. And you want, it's a watercolor, so you want it to look like it's watercolored. Not every stroke is going to cover every piece of the flower. So you can, put as much ink on there as you want. And then for the flower portion of it, for the petals, I started with the petal pink because it's the lightest color, and did the background in general, just the tips of the flowers, and then a few areas down towards the center. So I just wanted the tips to have a little bit of pink in them. And then I took the Flirty Flamingo, one of my favorite colors, for a pink, and colored just added some lines, some flicked lines here and there. And then for the rest of it, I took the Rich Razzleberry, and I just flicked some lines in there with that as well. So it's very easy to go over this embossed area with color. You can color it in if you'd like it solid. I just kind of wanted to make it look like you'd taken brush strokes to it, so I opted not to fill it in too much. Okay, so about like that. Fill in some of the center of it a little bit there. Okay, so you can color it in as much as you like, or as little as you like. All right, so I'm just going to leave it at that, and that's how I colored that in. So it's pretty simple card to do. I will show you how I did also the background. This is the embossed on Whisper White. And I took the blending brush and some rich raspberry ink. Another way to get the ink on there so that you get it pretty saturated is to use a little palette and the re-inker. You could also add some glycerin to it if you wanted to get it to smooth around. But I'm just going to lightly go over this so you can see how it just applies the color to those raised areas. Oh, it's gorgeous. Beautiful piece. Looks like you applied white paint with a palette knife. Okay, so that's how I did that. And going back to this part, once I had got it colored, I took some of the twine and some scotch tape, and I came up to about the third little scallop there and put a piece of tape on the back to hold it so that I could wrap it around. So then I went up to, I believe, the sixth, probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth one up there, and then came back over here to the sixth one. Maybe it was the fifth one. So it's not quite so high. So it's the fifth one. And then wrapped it back around and came down over here to the third one, and then put a little piece of tape on the back again to hold this in place like that, and cut it off. Okay, then I added the backing to this, put the glue on the backing and not on your design. Okay, and then just kind of center that over it. Put it on this way, actually. Okay, and then I would hold it down for a little bit just so that it sets. And I'm looking here, I did not stamp my I Miss You and die cut it, but that's okay. If you want a different sentiment, you know, you can stamp what you'd like, but they have I Miss You, Happy Birthday, Congratulations, Good Luck. They have many here. Sorry, thank you, best wishes. You are lovely. I'm thinking of you. That's a nice one. I'm thinking of you. And that would be placed on dimensionals on the front of the flower portion. And then I added, so you'd add your sentiment down here over the twine. And then I took some of the glittered enamel dots. I used these pretty purple ones here. Let me get my tool. And I tried to use 3 different sizes, so put a big one down here, and a medium one probably over here, and then the small one up at the top there. Okay, and that's how it kind of finishes off that part of it. So I'm going to stand up so that I can glue this to the embossed piece of the card. Okay, so I just kind of want to center this so that it's framed with the back. With glue, you have a few seconds to move it around. Okay, so that's how I did that. So let me bring in my card front. And this is, again, is Blackberry Bliss. And then you would just adhere this to the front of the card. Now there's lots of bumps on here. This is a deep embossing folder that creates this painting effect. And so you want to really put some glue on there, but not so much that it seeps out the sides. And then you're going to want to center this on the front. Okay. So there we have the front of the card, and there for the inside of the card, I cut a piece of Whisper White with the stitched rectangle dies, and with this stamp from the Sweet Sampler stamp set, I'm going to color those with the Stampin' Write markers. So I'll color the flowers first in Rich Razzleberry. And as you know, when you color stamps like this with the Stampin' Write markers, which are water-based, they dry kind of quickly, so you're going to have to huff on it in order to reactivate it, moisten it to get it to go down on the paper. So excuse me while I huff on my stamp. Okay, and then I'm going to stamp it on the side. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful watercolor effect. It's lovely. Okay, and so I bring my card back in. And let's adhere this to the inside of the card. So just put some glue on the back. And center this. And we've completed another card. Isn't it beautiful? Beautiful card. Don't forget to put the sentiment on. So there's the two cards, side by side. Thank you.